work in an industry that is ruled and run by men for women. And the issue and the disconnect with an industry that is run and ruled by men is that they tend to forget women. And it can seem or sound a little bit paradoxical because, well, they're designing for women. Yeah. But when you look at a lot of collection from men designer, you can tell that you did not consult a woman on this. You do not know what women that are not part of the fashion industry, that are not models or that are not celebrities, actually like or want to wear. Most often, if not every time, what happens is that those designers are going to create what they think a woman should look like, and they're going to dismiss real women who are actually going to buy their clothes. And so seeing some reaction from fashion critics or just people enjoying fashion saying that the woman by Sarah Burton is not modern, not cool, or boring, it's a little bit odd to me. It makes me feel that the last time you actually talked to a woman, a normal woman, was a long, long time ago. So rather than looking at a piece, rather than looking at a collection or thinking, okay, is that what the normal modern woman who makes a lot of money in a big city is going to like wear? They think, will that look nice on a red carpet or at the Met Gala? And of course, if you judge a collection based on those standards, a lot of collections are going to sound or look boring. The other thing when we talk about modernity, I think that for a lot of people, they equate modernity with youth. So if the clothes does not look very youthful, and it's boring and it's not interesting. The reality is girls are allowed to be dressed, but mature women are also allowed to be dressed. And when I look at Sarah Burton's Givenchy, what I see is a very mature woman. You can also tell by the choices they made for the models, right? I mean, some of them are really young, but you also have some very mature looking women, which I really appreciate. Our society tends to erase older women from every industry. The idea that women exist in a one-dimensional way and that after 30, 35, they don't really exist at all is a big, big issue in that industry. But when it comes to modernity and femininity and what it should look like, people also tend to forget that culture plays a big, big role in it. So as I said on my Twitter, I feel that because of Americans and American imperialism, and because most of the pop culture is ruled by America, people forget that there is a world outside of that with their own cultures and their own idea and perception of beauty and fashion. And every art form exists in a social context. And to be able to judge it, you need to be able to understand that social context and that cultural context. And for a brand like Givenchy, which is French and which is now directed by a British woman, you need to be able to understand the duality between a French culture and a British culture when it comes to a certain type of fashion. So if you say that for you, Givenchy was supposed to look like Durand Lantic new collection, then for me it means that you are not really reading the room. And that's the same issue that I had with people when it comes to Chanel. Because Chanel was under Karl Lagerfeld, who was not French, by the way, for such a long time, they felt so weird when Virginie Viard, who is a white woman from a bourgeois background, came and took the direction of it. Because she was designing for a certain type of woman. And if you were to spend some time in the same circle as her, you would totally understand Chanel. Like, it would make sense in a cultural way. Now, when it comes to design, you're allowed to not like it, but I do believe that it's important to understand the cultural background behind a design. Now, back to Sarah Burton and Givenchy. Her idea of modernity will never look like a Durand Lundnik fashion show, just because I think that you guys forget that no matter what you see online, no matter what you hear, women are very attached to their femininity and the way they express it. So with this collection, Sarah Burton did not only play with elements of trends and modernity, she also played with a certain expression of femininity that is very controlled and very calculated and also very mature. And at the same time, when you look at certain looks, you can tell that like she tried to bring a little bit of seduction and sensuality to the silhouette. Some angles are very soft yet very strong. So for me, The Woman by Sarah Burton's look very assured and confident. And she's mature and modern and cool without falling into a very idealized idea of femininity. And she kind of reminds me of the actress playing Sylvie in Emily in Paris. Anyway, I think it's time for designers to start asking women what they actually look like, who they actually are, and what they would actually like to wear, rather than just designing what they think a woman should look like.